akin na po, Ate Risa. Okay na.
Yes! Good afternoon! Teka lang, i-share natin dahil live na siya.
We
Oh,
are live. Hello,
join us
everybody.
now, di ba?
We are coming from you from California, and it's
Yes,
3 o'clock. And
yes.
we're going to talk about another series of our Go Live,
Yep,
which is Failure to Success Famous
yep.
People Stories. Ooh,
Amen.
exciting.
Nakaka-inspire, you know? Um, ikaw ba dyan, sino ang mga on the top of your head, sino yung mga kilala mo na alam mong dating sa failure ngayon very successful?
Isa na po dyan si, syempre, yung pinakamayaman, the richest person in the, the world. Before, I think, hindi na yata siya po ngayon,
Hindi
no?
na
It's
yata
Bill
siya eh.
Gates. Yeah, I think hindi
Bill
na siya
Gates.
ngayon. It's
Yeah,
Bill
I think
Gates.
somebody took his place. So, anyway, hello for everyone who's watching. We welcome you to our broadcast. And we just wanted to inspire. We wanted to talk about the people who have failed and who became successful. So this would be an interesting one. So, ikaw ba, Jen? How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as where are
Hi,
you now? Are we on the failure to success? Hi.
hi, George. Thanks for
Hi, George.
watching.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so
Sorry,
much.
what's that, Adrisa?
Huh?
What
So,
you're
I'm sorry.
what you're saying?
Okay. In our journey right now, because we're both business people, where are we right now? Are we still on the failure side?
Oh
I think we're
no,
moving to success.
no. Yeah, no.
I mean,
We're still learning though, but
yes, yes,
we're getting in there. We're
yes,
getting in
yes.
there.
So that's the most important part. So we are we're getting there. Thank you, George.
Thanks,
Thank
George.
you, thank you
He's
for
one of my lead, so I hope you go and watch the workshop because it's really exciting.
yes,
And jump
yes,
in soon
yeah,
with us.
yeah. So don't delay. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully this talk will. So a lot of people, the reason they're actually successful is because there's a drive in them. Something happened that caused them to have that drive, to have that motivation to really become successful. Some
Mhm.
of it is intentional. Most of it are really just circumstantial. You know, the circumstances of their life and like I don't want to be like this forever. And I think that's everyone that we know mostly. I mean, not a lot of people who are not in a good position, yung hindi they're not in a good situation right now, wouldn't say I want to stay here forever. They
Uh-huh.
want things to change.
Yeah.
They just don't know how, but the thing is, they want things to change, right? So that's what we want to talk about, and hopefully, the people that we will be mentioning here would motivate and encourage anyone who is getting there, because this might be your step too. So you might end up to be a very successful person someday. And for us, for Jen and I, we are already claiming that.
That's
We do that to
right.
ourselves.
I'm
Hello,
laughing.
Miss America.
Miss USA. Hattie Jocelyn. Hi.
Can you just show her, you want to show it?
Yes. Oh, there you go.
Ayan.
There you go. It's lagging. Sorry. Our connection. We're having a
What are you cooking up there?
little technicality ate. Ooh, what is happening on our connection? Anyway, I think it's ate's. Okay. Hi, Coach. Hi, Coach Joam. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in with us. Ate Risa's
Oh,
having
caused
a
by
little
your Wi-Fi.
technical difficulty right now.
Hi, Coach. Love this topic. So before, hi, Jess. Hello,
Yes.
everyone. So before we get into that, we wanted to share our. So do we start now, Jen? Let's start talking about these people now. We'll be
Yeah.
showing sharing our screen, just to show you some of the people that we're gonna be talking about. And let me just share my screen right now. Hi, Jess, watching from California. We are the Cali
Ooh,
people right now. So
yes.
let me share my screen so that oops, hold on. Sorry about that. Share screen, and it's going to be Chrome. Yeah, share, and that's going to
Oh,
be the slideshow. Yes, there you go. Our
the
first
famous
one.
Michael Jordan.
Yes, and he's famous for basketball.
Basketball.
Yeah, so um, let me just start this one. So this is something that he said, okay, and it's very inspiring. He said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed.
Missed.
I
Ooh,
failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed."
wow.
Wow. So
Big words.
I mean, right? I mean, why would you say I failed over and over and over again, and that's why I succeed?
Yeah.
So, meaning to say, what do you think of that, Jen? What do you think of that?
Like, hindi siya nawalan ng pag-asa.
Yeah,
Even if there's a lot of challenge, there's a lot of struggle, he still persevere.
yeah, and I think the bottom line there is he said I failed over and over again. That means he kept on trying, and that's why
Mhm.
he failed. Because if he did not try at all, he wouldn't even fail, right?
Yeah, and he
So
even, you know,
the thing is, if you want to be the best in your game, you have to keep trying, and failing will be part of it. You know, did you know that in sophomore, he tried out for the varsity basketball team in his high school, and his name wasn't on it when it was posted. And he was asked to play for the junior varsity, and to him that was a failure because he
yeah,
was really trying so hard. And
yeah,
for you to not even make it, I mean, you would think that he's so good, but he did not make it to his high school team. And yet, after that, when he finally made it, I mean, I cannot tell you the whole story. This is his record, okay? This is Michael Jordan's record. And I only took the ones. That's life. Yes. Keep on trying, because the only time you will win or fail is when you try.
try, yeah,
The,
huh?
the
And you will never know if you will not try.
Yeah, and for much of life, it's a trial and error for some. Uh, what works and what doesn't work, and either way, you still learn. Even if you fail, you still learn. You learn that it doesn't work. you know. And this is Michael Jordan's record. He's the 10 times NBA scoring champion. 10 times. Oh my gosh. He's the only one with two three-peats, meaning to say three back-to-back wins. Okay, 2 times in the NBA. He is the most points per game in NBA history. He is the most points per game in final series. Oh wow, this is you know finals is really stressful. And he's the only player in the NBA history to earn more money than his entire team. Okay, because people were asking him to endorse. The endorsement was so because he was so popular, and he was also the most points per game in the NBA playoffs history. And when he was asked, I remember when he was asked how he usually tries to maintain 30 points, I think, per game, 30 or above. And he says he just breaks it down into quarters. So the 30 is allotted, so like 7.7, 7 or 8 per quarter. I'm like, that's that's wise. He doesn't pressure himself to so he breaks it into quarters so that he can uh, deliver and keep up his stats, because that's one of his statistics as a player, so that he can always have an advantage. So that's really wise. And he's still around today. He still owns,
Oh
what does
yeah.
he own? He owns, I'm sorry. Oh
For
my
the
gosh, I forgot anyway, he owns his own basketball team, and he has actually transformed that franchise to become one of the better franchise in basketball history too. So he's really something. And Michael Jordan, he's one of the endorsers of Nike. So for those who have Jordans, now you know why you have a Jordan.
yep, a lot of shoes.
Right? Okay, so let's go to the next one. Here, let's go. Who's this? Can you talk about this?
Who doesn't know that?
Everybody
Our
knows Walt
favorite,
Disney.
everybody's favorite. I think everyone's childhood favorite.
Yeah,
Walt
I
Disney.
mean,
Mhm.
I know because my granddaughter was just wearing so many
Oh,
Mickey Mouse hats
many
yesterday.
generations na, no, Teresa. A lot of
Yeah,
generations
yeah,
since then.
yeah, yeah. His career actually started way back in the
1920s.
1920s, 20s, I think
20.
20s.
Oh my
So
gosh.
you,
How
you
many
wanna
decades?
do you wanna talk about him?
Yeah, so what we found out about him is like he created more than 81 featured films and hundreds
Yes,
of shorts.
yes.
He earned
Short.
more than 950 honors, including 48
Wow.
Academy Awards. Oh my gosh. And he
And these are
founded the
just
California,
animation,
yeah,
right?
animation, only animation. And he founded the California Institute of the Arts. And he built the Disneyland, the famous
Yeah,
Disneyland,
Disneyland, Coach
the
John. Punta ba
most
ako sa
ano yun,
Disneyland?
the happiest place on earth.
Amen. Did you post already? Did you show dreams do come true when you have the power? Yes,
That's
yes. And
true.
you never stop
Yes.
dreaming because dreams. Walt Disney. That's all he was. And as a backgrounder, what was his background?
So his background, he left home because of an abusive father. And then the Walt Disney was fired from his job
But
at the newspaper early in
yeah,
his career. They said he lacked imagination and had no original idea.
can you can you imagine that? I wonder who said that. They
I
probably
know.
ate their
I think
words.
that's what yun yung naging motivation. I think that's his
Yeah.
motivation when somebody told him
Hmm.
like no imagination and no
Come on,
originality.
right? Yeah. But he had a few setbacks. What were those?
Mhm. And then he experienced bankruptcy too at 22, age 22.
Yeah, that.
His company rights were taken from him, and all his animators, except one, left him. He went through a breakdown, and his workers went on strike. He was at one point had more than $4 million debt.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? So the guy had this company, and he felt he owned that company, only to find out later on that he had no rights over it. So it was taken up out from him, and all his animators went with this other guy. Only one stayed with him,
Oh my
and then he
god.
had a mental breakdown. I mean, not the breakdown. He break down. So I can just imagine because he was in 4 million debt, and this
I
was
know.
1920s. Hello, that's very big amount to be in debt for. But what happened next?
So he came up with a new character that he named first named Mortimer Mouse. Later, the
Mm-hmm.
Walt's wife suggested calling the character Mickey. Mickey Mouse was born. So no one wanted his Mickey Mouse cartoons at first, but he kept
Mm-hmm.
on trying.
Yep.
And so he kept on asking Walt Disney, asking, and then Walt Disney struggled with bankruptcy, borrowing money, and substituting on beans from a can for years until he had a hit with the Mickey Mouse cartoons in the late 1920s. Wow.
Can you imagine that? I mean, all he had was Mickey Mouse, and he knew that it was going to work. And that's why he had to borrow a lot of money, had to go into debt to the point
Even
where
filed
he's not
bankruptcy.
eating. Yeah, he had to file bankruptcy. He wasn't eating very well, he subsist on beans because you believed in something, and then finally somebody believed enough to take it on, and he went for television. That's how he started. He went for television first, because at that time, during his time, it was more on the movies. If you want to make it big, it was on the movies. And if you're just on television, you're really like small time. But he went for it, and Walt Disney was born. Disney was born. Mickey Mouse was born.
Yeah, until now, it's really famous.
Yes, and
Generation after
it's not
generation.
gonna go away. We all have, at some point in our lives, we have
Look
Mickey
at your
Mouse.
shirt, Ate Risa.
Huh?
Look at your shirt.
I'm sorry? Oh yeah, and that's why I wore this.
It's Mickey Mouse.
I'm like, I'm gonna celebrate this guy. Yes, yes, that's
See?
right. Anyway, so let's move on. So I hope that his story has
It's really inspiring.
inspired some of us here. I'm inspired by that. I mean, I'm not much of a creative, drawing, but the point is, yes, yes, a lot of people didn't believe in him, honestly, and during his time, because that was post pre post-war post-war, because at one point his studio was invaded by the troops so that they can have a place. So he suffered through so much, but it's not impossible. Nothing is impossible, and that's the recurring theme of Disney movies, that nothing is
Yeah.
impossible when you dream, right? So or you believe in something so much, you're willing to put your heart and whole being into it. So let's go to the next one. Aha! This is the Mr. Gates, Mr. Bill Gates. Wow. Um, so we know that Bill Gates is now one of the richest man in the whole world. Do we know how much he's made, his worth right now? We don't know. Anyway, Bill Gates was a college dropout. So,
In
you know,
Harvard, to be exact.
yes, and a lot of us, especially in the Filipino community, in the Filipino tradition, or culture, that's a no-no. If you didn't finish school, especially in the Filipino culture, you're not gonna amount to anything. That's what our parents would say, right? But
That's
this
what we
guy,
used to
he
think.
dropped out because he couldn't wait to do what he wanted to do, and he co-owned a business called Trapo Data, which di- which didn't make it. It was a failed business because right now, who knows of that business? Nobody knows that business. That's why it failed, right?
Yeah.
But he was really good with computer programming, and he eventually turned his failure into success by pioneering the famous software company Microsoft.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think that everyone here at one point has had or had have used Microsoft, right? For one, whether in school, at work, or wherever you have used this. And he was only 31 years old at that point, but he became a self-made billionaire, not millionaire, billionaire. I still
Youngest.
remember
Oh
when
my God.
I had my first job as a secretary. I had to learn his software. And they had those floppy disks pa, and that's how old I am.
I, I
But
experienced that too, Ate Risa. In the 90s. I was able to learn
yeah,
and use
you
that
did, you
floppy
did.
disk.
So
Mm-hmm.
at least I'm not by myself.
I think it's our generation. It's the last
Yeah.
generation, the 90s, who was able
And
to use that.
in his own words, he said, "It's fine to celebrate success, but it is more important to heed the failures, the
Oh,
lessons of failure. Sorry, the lessons of failure." And
that.
he that isn't to say that dropping out of Harvard will make you into a billionaire, but maybe that shiny degree isn't worth as much as the drive and the passion to succeed. So sometimes, the things that we depend on for success is not really what would push us towards success. It's really passion. It's really a drive, a motivation, something inside of you that just won't go away, right? So that might actually make you into a self-made billionaire, but I would
Yeah.
settle for millions. I wouldn't know how to handle billions. I mean, Lord, if you want me to handle it, I will.
Why not?
I'm open to it. So, anything else you want to add? No?
No, Ate.
No. Okay. Next one. Let's go to the next one. Ooh, do you want to talk about this guy or you want me to talk
Ikaw
about
na,
him?
Ate. I don't
Okay,
know
okay.
much of
Kasi hindi
him.
siya makarelate. Kasi niya, sino yan?
I just know his movies, though. I didn't know that he was the one who direct the movies. So
Yeah, so
I just
Steven.
found out.
So Steven Spielberg is a very famous director and producer, um, and he has won a lot of Academy Awards. Too many to mention. Um, One of my favorites years with him would be, of course, Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones. Um, but believe it or not, Steven Spielberg was rejected by the USC School of Theater, Film, and Television 3 times.
Not just once, but three.
He tried to get into the school 3 times, but he was rejected. Kawawa naman.
Oh,
They I mean, that's so funny looking at where he's at right now. I'm sure they made him an honorary graduate because of that. But after failing to get into USC's film school, he got his start up as an unpaid intern at the Universal Studios. Okay, in the editing department, and then he eventually attended another school, but he still became a school dropout because he wanted to go into film, and it paid off. He became a 3-time Academy Award winning director, and most of his films, have grossed more than 10.1 billion worldwide. 10.1 billion. And um, believe it or not, he went back to school 35 years after trying to get into his first uh, film school. He went back 35 years after, and he got his degree in
mhm.
2002. He got his Bachelor of Arts degree. I'm like, my God, seriously? Anyway, and his current net worth right now is $4 billion. Wow, that's a lot of money to get rejected 3 times in film. It's like saying that it's like saying you don't know anything about film, so try another field, but he proved them wrong. So in your gut, right? If you really have this and you want, it's not gonna, you can't push it down. It'll keep on coming up because that's the dream that God has put inside of you.
Yeah,
That's,
like what
that's all.
George said, what you will know is that anything God said is the best. Amen.
Yes. Yes, he never gave up. Three
Well,
times. I don't know what happened. I should actually research what happened there. Anyway, so let's go to some women right now. Okay.
uh,
Hold that.
over.
So, do you know who this is, Jen?
Uh, not really.
She
I
because
I I heard a lot of things about her, but I'm not really
familiar.
into.
Because
Yeah.
she's not as active now because she's a billionaire. She doesn't need the money right now. But she still has her magazines and her productions. She still does a lot of movies. She still produces, and so this is Oprah Winfrey, and she was born in Mississippi. They were very poor, and she was born to a teenage mom. Okay, and this is a very sad part in her history that she suffered abuse. She was actually abused and raped when she was younger, especially during her teenage years. And that's why at the age of 13, she left home. And then at the age of 14, she got pregnant, but she lost that baby. So
Gosh,
that's,
that's too
you know,
much.
I know that's too much.
Too much for a teenage
Yeah,
girl.
yeah.
Oh
She was
my
abused and
gosh.
raped. So at least three people abused her. Um, and they were supposed to be relatives, people who's supposed to protect her of all
Mhm.
things. And so, long story short, but she was very smart, and she won a lot of beauty contests, you know. And at the age of 19, she got her break at CBS Studios, I think, uh, and she became the first African American female co-anchor of the CBS Evening News.
Wow.
But later on, they decided that she is not a very good reporter. She can. It was said that she was labeled as unfit to be a news reporter, and she was demoted to just co-anchor a local show. But that didn't stop her because her heart was all about. So what happened was, she was demoted to a talk show. Here we go again, another talk show, and those do not rate well. But that's where she found her passion. She wanted to talk to people, ordinary people, and talk about them, and how they are, and she was championing them, and it resonated with the audience, so that she eventually began her own talk show, and it became the highest paid she became the highest paid entertainer for many many years. Okay. uh, and her talk show was always the highest watched talk show, the Winfrey Show. And she that lasted for about 25 years. That's why she's kind of retired right now. But her her current net worth at this point is 2.6 billion
Yeah.
dollars.
No.
That's a lot of money for a woman, so for someone who came from impoverished um background, to all of that, and she overcame that. She could have used that as an excuse to say, well, I probably will not amount to anything, because so many things have happened. But she used her personal experience to connect with people, and that's what made her so endearing. And she was very generous too. She was a very she was kind of like the Ellen DeGeneres. You know
Oh,
Ellen, right? So
no.
parang ganun siya. She's the
Okay.
counter. I mean, Ellen is the current, although Ellen I think
Current.
also
Mhm.
stopped also. But that's where the inspiration comes from. She would always surprise people with many gifts. People didn't know, and that's why they're so excited to watch her show. So yes, for Oprah, and she's a very good actress. She's I've seen her movies. Oh my gosh, she's very good. So hats off to this woman. She wears a lot of hats and she does each one
What
of them.
ano ate, what's her most popular movie?
The Color Purple.
Oh, okay.
The Color Purple. It was an award-winning movie. So she was there. Uh, so it was one of those classic
Let's
movies
see.
that you never
I'll watch
forget.
that.
Yeah, you should watch
I'll
it.
check on it.
You're
Yeah.
gonna cry. You should have a box of tissues when you watch it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's go to the next one. How many minutes have we? Okay,
30
okay. What is
minutes.
your car? What's your car right now, Jen?
Honda.
There you
Always
go.
Honda.
Anyone here who has owned a Honda at one point in time? Raise your
Yeah.
hands.
Been always using Honda because since then it was been known to have like good quality
Yes,
cars.
yes, yes. So, can you talk about this guy? Who's this guy? I don't know how to.
So Honda had developed a revolutionary engine piston ring.
Mhm.
And it was his dream to work at Toyota. That's his competitor right
I
now.
know. Yeah, because Toyota was way ahead of the game at that point. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Toyota was already been na talaga, popular and talagang
yeah.
So he worked tirelessly in his small workshop to make his dream come true.
Yep.
So once he completed the piston ring, he took it to Toyota. But unfortunately, the company rejected him as it did not meet their standard of engineering.
It's like, hello, you know, they could have lost, they couldn't. So, but eventually he set up his own. You know how he did it? He started with a bicycle. He put the piston ring on a bicycle, and when he started, it wasn't cars; it was motorcycles,
Mhm.
and he became popular. And then he evolved into vehicles, and Honda was born. Honda
Yeah.
manufacturing was born. So I don't think anyone can dispute his success. It's just I don't know what his we should probably research how much his net worth right now, but it's in the billions for
Oh,
sure.
for sure.
For
Yeah.
sure, it's in the
Right
billions. So,
now, his company is really like, boom talaga. That's why we
and
always wanted to
and
have like a Honda.
everybody wants a Honda. In fact, most of the cars that are stolen are Honda,
Oh yeah,
right?
because you used to work in di ba ate?
Yes, yes. Most parts, they would take the parts of the Honda and or steal the car because they can really sell it because there are a lot of buyers. So there you go. I mean, I don't know what to say to Toyota for rejecting him.
Yeah. Now that's why they became really competitors.
I know, but with
Yeah.
Japan, it's always a
Yeah.
mutual
And
respect
that
for
made
others.
him that's became his motivation because they rejected him. So
And
he said
he
like,
believed in what he did. He really
mhm.
believed it, and that's why he found a way to eventually find funding for it. In fact, you know who funded him? Small small businesses. He went to the small businesses and he asked them, "I believe in this thing," and they started funding his company, and that's why he grew. So that's amazing. Hats off to Mr. Soichiro Honda. Who's
Yeah.
this? You talk about this guy, Jen.
Oh yeah, I was telling Ate Risa to add him.
Yes.
He's the most and the most richest person in the Philippines.
Yep. Yep.
Who doesn't know him, right? The
Yep.
owner of all the SM
As
malls.
so many malls. I don't know if I think he has international malls now. I think he set up.
Let's
I'm
see.
not sure, but I know that they have. I think that he does. Anyway, so let's talk about him.
So he's the richest Filipino in the Philippines, and he migrated to the country during the post World War II
Mm-hmm.
gathering the shoes littered along the street. Sorry,
Oh.
we got a buyer because that's why the phone is keep on popping in our email. So, gathering the shoes littered along the streets, fixing them, and selling from home to home. Oh my God,
Wow.
I can't believe that actually.
Wow. Chaga.
And eventually, he gained enough to build a small shoe store, naming it Shoe Mart. That's the
Mm-hmm.
acronym of SM. And
Mm-hmm.
despite facing different challenges in his business, such as the Marcos dictatorship
Mm-hmm.
regime and the hyperinflation of 1997's global crisis, he persisted through hard work and faith.
Wow.
And now he is now worth $12 billion, and his malls have become a household brand.
Yep.
$12 billion, Ate Risa.
In the
How
That's in
much
dollars. That's in
dollars?
dollars. In
That's
dollars, not
dollars.
pesos, okay?
Not peso.
So
How
that's amazing.
how's the
I'm so
yun,
proud of him.
equivalent in
Actually,
peso?
I think one of my schoolmates, batchmate in high school, works for his firm. And I'm so proud. It's just a proud Filipino here because he had a vision. And post World War, everyone was poor at that point,
Yeah.
but he made something out of nothing. I mean, and that's why he would never forget his beginnings. That's why it's called Schumart at that time. But later on, they evolved into SM and became different malls. But you know, that's amazing. He's a visionary,
Yeah.
and I think they're still expanding globally, if I'm not
Oh yeah.
mistaken. Yeah. So it's the biggest retail chain and mall. I remember when I was pregnant with my children, I would always go to his malls because it's air conditioned,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
and
Not
that's
just
where I did
I
my
I
walk.
think mostly
At
most
that
of us.
point, Mega Mall was the biggest one, so I would do all my walks there so I can be prepared, especially for my first baby, so that I will not have to go into cesarean section. I would walk there for hours from
Wow.
one end to the other because it was so big. So you could
Yeah.
walk for hours. So hats off to Mr. C, the big man. Okay.
Mhm.
And his family is continuing his legacy. Thank
Yeah.
God. Anyway, so let's move on to the next. Do you know who this guy is?
Who doesn't know Albert Einstein? The most genius person.
Yep, yep. You want to talk about him?
I remember when back in my high school
Yes,
science subject,
yes,
we've been always talking about who is Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein,
yep.
and I was just surprised when I read his background today. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know that he was slow in learning how to speak.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Gosh.
Uh,
And then his parents even consulted to the doctors why he's like that, why he's slow how to speak.
he was even called retarded. He was. He was. He
Yeah,
was. They thought his teacher said that he might be
teachers.
retarded.
Oh my gosh, what kind of student feel like if your teachers were telling you like, hey, you're retarded, like you're
Yeah,
mentally handicapped? Oh my
because
gosh, that's
he at that point when you don't really talk a lot, but I
yeah.
guess his mind was so filled uh, with all the equations and the mathematical equations and the science behind that he couldn't. He was he was thought of to be mentally handicapped. Can you
Yeah.
imagine? Can you imagine? I mean, all the teachers out there, please don't label kids that way. Every kid is gifted,
Mhm.
so try to
You
see.
can just judge the kid by
Yeah,
its
yes,
flaws.
yep. Because you never know, that might end up to be like Albert Einstein,
Hmm.
and thank God the kid, did not mind. And he eventually what? What did he develop?
So he developed the special and general theories of relativity. His
Yes,
famous equation E is equal to mc2, something like that.
squared. Yes.
Yeah.
And I was not very good with math and science, sorry, and
Yeah,
physics.
I'm not really into
So
the.
I just know that he proved this theory. And
Mhm.
he's but he was very sad when his theory was actually used to build the atomic bomb, because that was the bomb that was that destroyed Hiroshima. So he was very sad about that. Anyways, so but hats off to you, Mr. Einstein. Even though they called you retarded, you did not listen to them, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go to the next. Oh, do you know these people?
Sorry. The Beatles. Yeah, I've been listening his their songs too before,
Okay, so the
but not my
Beatles.
generation though.
Well, uh, they were. So I grew up listening to their songs too, and believe it or not, the Beatles, they're they're worldwide, you know. And when they were starting out, they were a group of young men, very young men. The recording studio said, no to them because, oh, your favorite Miss Jesselyn, huh? Wow, we should have a videoke night of Beatles songs.
That's
Or
right.
maybe dance anyways. So imagine they were rejected when they approached the recording company. They were told no, but and then Decca Recording Studios, they recorded 15 songs with the group, but they also said we don't like their sound. Okay, uh, the guitar music is way out, and they have no future in show business. Here we go again. People labeling others as, it's so sad when people just label you and say, you have no future in this. Come on, guys. Please don't say that. Please don't tell that to your children. Don't say that to other people because you might just eat your words, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because eventually the Beatles have received 7 competitive awards out of 23 nominations they've won. They have sold 1.6 billion singles uh,
Wow.
in US alone. In US alone, billion. So imagine worldwide. And when I was listening to them, I was in the Philippines, and they've sold 600 million albums worldwide. And to this day, people are singing their songs. They're classic. So you cannot beat their popularity. I don't think a lot of people are trying to sing their songs in a new genre, but they're you know they're one of the best. They're one of the best. So for those who don't know, maybe you will listen to their songs and you will fall in love with
It's
them
nice.
too,
Yeah, it's a nice
right?
songs.
Okay, so okay, George, that's fine. Where are you watching from? If I may ask. You're going to sleep right now. See you guys next time. It's 11 there. Where are you? Wow, that's really late already. Sorry about that. But thank you for joining us,
Yeah.
George.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it much. We're almost getting done here. Who's this? This is our next
Ooh,
guy. Yes.
who doesn't have Apple, like for the Apple users? I use it.
Hello. I have one. Yeah. Everyone has an Apple. Almost everyone.
I think most of us are using Apple. Sorry for the Android users.
Sorry. But
We're
we
just
have to acknowledge it. We have to
mm,
acknowledge it.
yeah.
So tell us about Steve Jobs in a few
Steve
words.
Okay, so Steve Jobs, now the now revolutionary Apple started off with two men in the garage,
Wow.
just in
Wow.
the garage, at Teresa.
So
And
never
then
underestimate your garage.
I know. And then years later, we all know it as a $2 billion company with over 4,000 employees.
Wow. Wow.
Yet, almost unbelievably, Steve Jobs was fired from the very company he began.
Oh, that is so
I heard
sad.
about it. I heard about
I
it.
think he was fired because of his attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
So
didn't like his attitude.
yeah. Well, and then the dismissal made him realize that his passion for his work exceeded the disappointment of failure.
Mm-hmm.
Further
Yep.
ventures such as Next and Pixar
Mm-hmm.
eventually
Love
led
Pixar.
Jobs back to
Mm-hmm.
the CEO position at Apple.
Yep.
So the Jobs said in 2005,
Mm-hmm.
lost your job today, keep kicking, and you could be just like this guy.
Yep. Yep. So that's amazing, right? He started in a garage with one of his friends, and then when his idea finally came to life, he got
Mm-hmm.
fired from the very company that he put up. I mean, talk about disappointment and frustration, right? But he never stopped believing in it, and eventually he came up with you know, this is a guy who, okay, you won't let me, I'll do something different. I would do something so good outside of this company, you would beg me to come back to the company that you kicked me out of. And that's exactly what happened. Pixar, man, my granddaughter watches Toy Story every single day. And that's
Mm-hmm.
Pixar
The
right
Pixar,
there.
yeah.
Yep. I mean, he founded that and next and that's amazing. He's a real visionary. And I remember, this is trivia. I remember when he first came up with the iPod, you know
Yeah, small
the
one.
small version where you can actually download and listen to music
Mhm.
and download the Bible. I He was already sick at that time. He was already sick at that time. It was I forgot what year that was, but I emailed him and I said, "Mr. Jobs, thank you so much for inventing what you did. Because of you, I can now listen to my worship songs, and I can now read my Bible in a
Yeah.
small. Because Bibles are very hard to carry with you everywhere, right? But I had my songs, my worship songs, and my Bible in that one small gadget. And my husband, your Kuya Jimmy, gave me that for our anniversary. He said, "I know that you love." So
Mhm.
I still have that. I still keep that. I've kept that because he gave it to me, and I emailed him, but I don't know. Probably his assistant read it for him. But I just wanted at that point, because I knew he was already sick. I just wanted to acknowledge that, hey, you made an impact in my life. Okay, so yeah, just one of those trivia that I wanted to share.
That's really touching.
So thank you, Mr.
It
Jobs,
is. Yeah.
for your vision. So we applaud you. And what's next? Who's next?
Mhm.
Oh, do you know this guy? I think we just have two more people. This is
Yeah.
so you want to read his you should just read this one.
Oh, yung timeline. His timeline.
Yep. And this is our president, one of the US presidents, Abraham Lincoln.
Mhm.
Okay? So this is his timeline. Read it, Jen.
Okay. It's 1832. He lost his job and defeated for state legislator at age 23.
Okay?
Then the next year, 1833, he failed his business.
Okay?
And then the next year, he was elected to state legislator.
Yes.
Then the next year,
Uh-huh.
35, his sweetheart died.
Oh. Yeah, she
And
died
then,
from. Mhm.
yeah, the next year, 36, He had a nervous breakdown. 38 was defeated for House Speaker.
Okay.
Year 43 was defeated for nomination for Congress.
Okay.
Year 46 elected to Congress.
Okay.
And then on the 48, he lost renomination.
Yep. Yep. He was
And
supposed to
then
be
on the
nominated.
54, 1854, he defeated for US
He was
Senate.
he was defeated. He was defeated.
He was defeated, yeah. So how many ano ba to, ate? How many lost and defeat and failed to
Yep. Just
and
go
then on the
on.
56, he was defeated for nomination for vice president.
Mm-hmm.
And on the 58, again defeated for US Senate
Mm-hmm.
until on the 1860, he was elected to be the president.
Yes. That's
How
what I'm
many
talking
lost and
about.
how many failure, how many, oh my God, a lot of things happened on his journey before he
So
became the president.
that's almost a 30-year span where he failed more than he won, right? He even
Mhm.
had a nervous breakdown of all things. He's a lawyer. He was a lawyer and then he became a politician. But he failed so many times, but he did not give up and he became one of the greatest, if not the greatest president of the United States of America. I
Mhm.
mean, you
Big.
know, and
Whew.
so I'm like, wow. Of course, he was assassinated after a 4-year uh,
During his presidency.
term in as a president. He was assassinated. He was only 56. And did you know that he actually two of his children died? He has four sons. Two of them died when they were very young. So, and that's why he suffered some breakdown, nervous breakdown because of that. He became very melancholy because of that. Nakakaawa, you know. But, that made him, I guess that made him the kind of president that he became,
Yep.
you know. And his reign was responsible for freeing people from slavery. So that's why he became the greatest president of all time.
Yeah.
Okay. And so let's go to the last one. So, of course, we end on a good note for the Filipinos. Yay!
Yep. Socorro Ramos. Whew. When I was anyway, ano pa Ate Risa, ganyan din ba yung ano na nag-school kayo?
Oh,
You
yeah.
always go
I,
to the National
I
Bookstore.
love, so it was National Bookstore, and what was the other one? There were two major bookstores when I was studying, and National Bookstore was my favorite.
Mhm. Yeah,
So I would always go there. And they still exist right now.
until
So
now. Oh my
who's
God.
this? Her name
It's
is,
Socorro C. Ramos.
yep.
The founder of National Bookstore. Until
Mm-hmm.
now naman po, di ba? Yeah.
Yep.
And she's still alive though.
Yes, she's already in her 90s and she's still
90s.
alive.
Yeah.
Hats
We were
off.
like doing research and then I said, I think she's still alive. I couldn't find like when. Like when Ramos and her late husband opened their first store in Escolta, they had to find ways to survive a wave of hardships.
Mm-hmm.
Heavy books, censorship by the Japanese during the
Mm-hmm.
war, and then
Mm-hmm.
fire that
Oh,
razed their first branch during the
oh,
Battle of
wow.
Manila, and then a
Wow.
typhoon destroying almost all of their merchandise after the war.
Wow.
Despite all of this, they persevered and now have more than 100 branches nationwide on top of the family's other investments. O meron pa silang other investment besides the
Of course,
National
of course.
Bookstore.
So, I mean, talk about you could have given up at that point because you lost everything,
Yeah.
but she didn't, and she won. So now it's National Bookstore is going to be a household name for when it comes to school supplies and
Yes.
books. you
Supplies.
know it's amazing how these people thrive because primarily like what Michael Jordan was saying, because they failed. You know,
Mhm.
they went through. I don't think they would be half as successful right now if not for everything that they went through, right? And so, did you like their stories, Jen? It's
Yeah,
inspiring,
just
right?
found out nga actually kasi we've been always going to the National Bookstore and I don't
Oh,
even know that she was the owner,
owner,
she's
yeah.
the founder, yeah.
Well,
Which is
that's
good to
good.
know.
That's good.
Mhm.
That's
It's
right.
good.
And you know, as business owners, as parents, as employees, or wherever you're at in your walk right now, whatever season you're at, you might be facing some challenges, but we hope that the stories of these people will inspire you and motivate you to keep pushing, especially when it's most difficult,
Yeah.
especially when you feel like uh, I've already lost everything. Then if you lost everything, then all you there if if you're so down, there's no other way but up,
Mhm.
right? So uh, and you can find a way. Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. Um, and so we wanted to. Anything else you want to add, Jen? Before we
No.
any
Sige po, continue.
any anything that you've learned from these people?
Oh yeah, like if you wanna like if your dreams, you have dreams. Everyone has dreams. If you really
Yes.
wanna make it happen, just really don't give up. Even
Yep.
na sobrang hirap, sobrang lahat na wala na sa'yo, but still, if you believe in yourself, first of all, you can make it. We can make it.
Yep. Say no to the naysayers. Say
Mhm.
no to, don't let the negative words, we've heard it over and over again. They were said to, you can't make it, you're mentally retarded, you're not a good fit for this, rejection after rejection, failure after failure. But they did not listen to that. So
Mhm.
they listened to, what do you call this? To their gut. So let me stop my share screen here. Thank you so much. And before we go, we just wanted to share with you that, you know, whatever your dreams are, uh, keep pursuing it. Uh,
Mhm.
be passionate. Don't stop. Surround yourself with a good community. Surround yourself with people who will champion you. Don't do it alone. Look for people who will believe in you and stick with those. Kind of like what's his name? Walt Disney. The only guy who stayed with him. That's also the guy who helped him improve the Mickey Mouse character to become what it is right now. So can you imagine, right? Even Steve Jobs, there were two of them. So always look for people who will champion what you believe in. Okay. So with that, oh, I was not able to put any of the verses here, but have faith. The Word of God says in Hebrews 11:1, faith is the confident assurance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And, just be assured that if you believe it, it's going to happen. If you know it in your gut that this is what you're meant for, don't stop believing. Eventually, you will see it. Amen. So,
Yes. That's
I think
nice.
that's
That's
it.
nice to close the
Huh?
broadcast. That's
Yeah.
nice.
So, I know. And so tomorrow is Sunday. We hope that you go to church. At our church, you're invited because it is our anniversary, our church anniversary. We're at 45 County Street in Daly City. So if you're in that area, we invite you to come and join us in the celebration. It's going to start, I think, at 10:45 or 11. There's going to be food after. So we hope that you can make it. Jen and I will be there.
Yes.
And
That's
if
right.
you have any questions, you want to try out any business, you want to get into business, we are here for you. We will be more than happy to answer your questions. Message us We will be posting our websites after this. So we want to say thank you to everyone who's
Thank you for
watched. God bless
listening.
you. Is there anyone else that we have?
No,
Okay.
no.
Thank you for everyone. God bless you. And we'll see you
You
again next
next
week.
week.
Have a
Bye.
great weekend. Thank you, guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.